The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honourable Thring.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Deputy Minister, our students at higher learning institutions across the country need all the help they can get to obtain their desired qualification. This requires the efficient use of education budget allocations. With allegations of political parties and its members having benefited from the looting of taxpayers' money and the investments of poor people at VBS Mutual Bank, what measures are in place to ensure that student disbursements to financial institutions are in line with the PFMA and directives from National Treasury to prevent any further losses or future losses to these students via the disbursements? Thank you.
The Honourable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. As I indicated, maybe you may have come in later than the response. It happens to all of us, the best of us. But just to repeat that we haven't lost any money to VBS. No students have lost any money. And the extent within which the NSFAS process is foolproof is shown by the fact that we haven't. There are students, and we'll talk to that later on, there are some students who have not received their allocations, for instance, precisely because some of them have not signed any bursary agreement with the NSFAS, because ultimately that's what will guarantee every student from receiving any money. But we have in place measures which will guarantee that there are no losses, but we're also taking action, as you may have read elsewhere in the media. We're also taking action against those who were implicated in wrongdoing in the past at the NSFAS.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Minister. I now recognize the Honourable KRJ Meshu.
Thank you, House Chair.
All honourable members, I want the Minister to hear this follow-up
South
question.
Africa is a participatory democracy, and hence members of the public have a constitutional right to air their views about decisions made by this House or any other committee. A number of organizations and NGOs still maintain that the department did not consult them regarding the contents of comprehensive sexuality education curriculum. For example, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Matakany, the National Secretary General of School Governing Bodies, after he had appeared on a number of different media platforms, he informed the public, including us, that school governing bodies have not been consulted about the contents of CSE. So I would want to know which governing bodies does the minister talk about when the National Secretary General says they don't know anything about. And I also want to know whether the minister is willing to go to areas where they said they have never heard about this before, including in the rural areas. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
No, Chair, as I indicated that
All the honourable members.
indeed we respect the rights of parents and of teachers in particular in the decision of any content that we teach. And the fact that different committees had raised problems, that's why we went for the first time. We never asked parents which maths to teach, which physical science to teach, but in this instance, they had raised concerns. That's why we have posted our material on the website to make sure that they satisfy themselves. And I really appreciate Muruti. If you can invite me also to Force Law, because that's what we've been doing. I have a team of priests, we call people, we talk about sex. I get which way, but to ata jwang ha o sa bue hore ba ata jwang and ha ba etse eng ke molao wa Bibele re o etsang hore batho ba tswane ba ate mme re ba tataise hore ke eng e sa etsuweng. So if you invite me, I will gladly come, because I've been on road shows to deal with this consent, because we want your support. So I can come to Force, and we have a good big church, so Kupa Utla, and then I'll bring the whole team, including other priests who agree with us, so that we can differentiate between the left and right priests.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The Honourable Sukas.
Honourable Minister, the content received from the department by the Portfolio Committee on Education differs from what is loaded on the website. What amendments was made to the uploaded content on CSE by the department in the last week? And whom did the department consult in regards to those amendments?
The Honourable Minister.
Chair, it's unfortunate there's an assumption of dishonesty on our part, and I think I have to clarify that. We have no reason to be changing unless we really assume that we are very dishonest. What we have put on the website, that's what is already in schools. And it's unfortunate that this campaign is led by religious groups that are using lies and distortions, which is very unfortunate. It's fine for them to raise their concern, but let them do it on the back of truths. So all the things that they've been putting on the website, I don't even know where they come from. I've been asking to say, where are these images from? They're definitely not from our material. So just assume that we are as honest as you are. We're not liars. So you're assuming that we're lying, we've changed material in order to impress you. Why should we do that? We're piloting this material to get feedback, right? And give us feedback on the basis of what we have officially uploaded, not what these groups are uploading and the lies and dishonesty. And it's unfortunate that the campaign is led by churches, and it's quite sad that they're leading it on the basis of untruths.
The last follow-up question goes to the Honourable Thring. Order, Honourable members. Continue, Honourable member.
Honourable Minister, there has been huge debate in the media over the Copyright Amendment Bill insofar as the fair use system is concerned. Opponents of the Copyright Amendment Bill assert that the fair use provisions...
Honourable member, will you just take your seat, please, in front of the member asking the question? Honourable members, really, we must respect the rules and the protocols of the House. It's unacceptable what you're doing. Please start afresh, Honourable member.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Minister, there's been huge, as I've said, debate in the media over the Copyright Amendment Bill insofar as the fair use system contained in the bill is concerned. Opponents to the Copyright Amendment Bill assert that the fair use provisions will be extremely catastrophic for the authors and publishers in South Africa, and that foreign investors will no longer invest in the country's creative industries. Could the Honourable Minister elaborate by telling us which acts are permitted under the fair use system? And can the Minister also ensure, particularly the authors and the copyright industry, that these fair use acts will not infringe on the intellectual property rights and the potential income of authors and publishers in South Africa? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Member, and thanks for your question. It's not only the fair use which is being raised. There are a number of issues with the Copyright Amendment Bill which are being raised. And one of them is on the exceptions. And they argue at that level that their work, they are not going to be able to exploit their work to the fullest if the category of exceptions is what it is now. I do not want to make any indication here, because on the other hand, the performers, what the bill seeks to do is to protect them on these contractual obligations they are locked into. But those who own the content particularly are opposed to that. And we have our views. We've put the thing that the government can no longer continue to bear the brunt of performers and creatives dying paupers when it can intervene. But not everybody agrees with that. All I can say here is that there are issues, the pros and cons from both sides, but finally we'll decide. And whichever way we would have decided, and everybody would have to accept that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Honourable Swartz.
Thank you, House Chair. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Arising from your response, thank you for the estimation of 1.1 billion. We know the SANDF indicated 1 billion, and according to the Division of Revenue Bill, which we are considering today, 241.9 million in the form of an indirect regional bulk infrastructure grant will be rolled over to also assist with this process. But you also indicated that you got legal advice. But what, Minister, will you be doing to ensure that that local municipality stops polluting the system and that other individuals and organizations also responsible can be held civilly and criminally responsible for the sewage and the pollution? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.
Well,
Honorable Minister.
thank you, Honourable Member. As I've indicated, we have taken legal action against Nxuba, and we are hoping that we're going to use this as a test case against municipalities who don't adhere to their responsibility. And I'm very glad that this morning you discussed the matter of the 241 million that we would like to use to assist us with this and prioritize this matter. In all, Honourable Member, for us as South Africans to be able to have the quality water that we need for the next 10 years, we need 90 billion rands per year. That is an excessive amount of money. However, we're hoping that with regular education around the municipality, making sure that they do their work, we will be working in collaboration with them. But we will await the court case that we have right now as a test case to make sure that there are consequences for polluting our water.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Swartz.
Thank you, House Chair, and thank you, Minister. Minister, we agree it is disgraceful that over 20 billion has been lost to corruption in the health sector, and ACDP welcomes the Health Sector Anti-Corruption Forum, launched on the 1st of October by the President. And you indicated the SIU and NPA are pursuing investigations, but a major problem, which you also referred to, is the collusion between persons suing government hospitals for malpractice and certain state attorneys who either settle the cases that have no merit or deliberately lose the cases. Minister, you referred to the Eastern Cape matter, but it appears that this practice is far more widespread, the pursuing of fraudulent medico-legal claims. What steps are you able to take to pick this up earlier, given that according to the SIU, it's almost in what they are aware of, 100 million rand? Is it not possible to pick that up earlier to prevent that? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. The estimation is 100 billion almost, it's not even a million. But nevertheless, I just wish the other honorable members would focus on the issue in the way that you have done, where we just deal with the problem as a problem, and not try to create too much of political point scoring on an issue that is endemic in the system that we must deal with. Now, thank you for the support of the Health Sector Anti-Corruption Forum. There are parties that I still have to hear if they do support it or not, or they want to find space to be politicking about it. In this case, let me just say you are quite correct about the issue of the collusion. We find that there are documents, the patient's records can be lost, and there might be collusion with some stuff. We find that some big firms, and when we get to the bottom of it, some of the members there will be shocked. We've found that there are about 4 or 5 companies across the country that are responsible for the major part of the claims. They make it their responsibility to just go and create these kinds of cases. 90% of the cases are about cerebral palsy, which are birth-related challenges. And here, you know, if you are an obstetrician and gynecologist, that there will be certain areas where such problems will arise. Some of them, they use the American standards and start calculating forward costs and then creating huge claims. And in some instances, we believe that there could be collusion from state attorney at that level. We're going to put a stop to all of that. At the end of the day, we have now identified areas where we'll actually deal with and treat those patients with the special needs for cerebral palsy. So there's no need for that to be added onto the cost. We'll need to deal with it that way. We also have a team that's going to be looking at the trend. They're analyzing the trends, and we will actually want to take the issue up, even if we have to take it up to the Law Society. In my previous history, I've come across this kind of thing. I can tell you, Honorable Member, we will catch them, and when we do, you will actually be shocked because some of them are respectable firms. They take advantage of the disadvantages of the government system, and we will fight it to the end. It's still corruption irrespective of who's doing it.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister, the ACDP would like to know what the department will do about those who left the education system in grade 9, 10, and 11 before the implementation of the GEC certificates, and whether the department has any strategies to target these school leavers so that they can return to the educational system.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Chair, indeed, the learners who have left the system, and it's estimated that almost 3.4 learners, young people between the ages of 15 and 24 are not in employment, in education, and in training. So it is a matter that we are seized with as Cabinet. Cabinet has mandated basic education and other departments to provide a strategy to deal with that. As basic education, we had launched what we call the Second Chance Program, but for now, because of our capacity, it's really a metric rewrite. And from the outcomes of the last assessment, it's quite clear that it's inadequate. We need to have a much more comprehensive program in partnership with higher education, which has the responsibility of ABET, which means the other phases below grade 12, and produce a comprehensive program. So we're working with higher education and other bodies to make sure that indeed we can be able to find a safety net for those learners who are outside the system as a second chance program. So it's a program that we're building on an ongoing basis. And yeah, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.